What's up, YouTube? So before we get started, on First Take, they're going to be talking about the players who they voted to be MVP. So let's see what they have to say about that.
122 of the players who participated in the poll ranked James Harden number one in the MVP race with 44% of the vote. Giannis coming in second at nearly 39%. Stephen A., does this prove Harden should win the MVP?
Well, I don't think it proves it, but if you want to say it that way, that's fine, because Harden's definitely my MVP. The fact is that he's been sensational this year, averaging more than 36 points. He's been absolutely phenomenal along the way. There is no doubt about that. And unlike Giannis, who deserves strong consideration, because Giannis is big time, and he's definitely the future, I look at Harden, his shot-making ability, leading the league and getting to the free throw line, just a magician with the basketball, can hit from three, can hit the mid-range, can get to the hole at will, can hit free throws in a better than 85% plus percentile. And I think about the 24 games or so that Chris Paul missed, the games that Clint Capella missed, the games that Eric Gordon missed. And I think, and the fact that he has Mike D'Antoni instead of Budenholzer. Mike D'Antoni is innovative offensively. We understand that, but even he himself has admitted it ain't about coaching. I just give James Harden the ball. Budenholzer is coaching. He's definitely coaching, not just offensively, but on the defensive side of the ball, using the gifts that the Greek Freak brings to the table and formulating his defense around all of that and making folks that we weren't even thinking about in the bona fide players and have the Milwaukee Bucks as a legitimate title contender. Giannis has all of that at his disposal. James Harden does not, and could still very well end this season as the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. He's been absolutely sensational. He's getting he has my vote, and I don't see how anybody can disagree with it personally. Even though I know some people.
So definitely, I'll get to Harden last. So Giannis, definitely, he's been balling, taking care of business. Paul George, he fell off big time because at one point he was running hard. He was making a strong case to be MVP this year, but just fell off. He couldn't maintain it. As far as James Harden, I agree. James Harden probably should be. No, it's not probably. He should be this year's MVP because he's been balling hard consistently. I mean, he had the record 32 games of 30 points consecutively. I mean, that's just out of control. And it's not like teams didn't know he was coming. It's not like he wasn't, it was just he was getting here and there. He had 32 consecutive games of scoring 30 points or more. And people couldn't stop him. He couldn't nobody can shut down James Harden. And not only that, and there's more. James Harden scored 30 points or more on every team he played against. Not every team, like every single, but every team, every different team that he played against, he got 30 points. So there's no team that he played against this year that he didn't get 30 points. That's just out of control. That everybody knows he's coming too, and he's still able to do it. You got to be MVP, man. You got to be MVP. But the thing is, we already know this. We already know how good James Harden is can he do it at the next level? So let's keep going.
Well,
this is really close. I'm not going to sit here and pretend this is Giannis, definitely. It's Giannis to me by a hair. I thought Giannis had an early lead in the season, especially because Harden was given the opportunity, in a sense, to prove he's so valuable because Chris Paul went down and Clint Capella went down. Whereas Giannis, until the Brogdon and then Mirotic injury, but Mirotic was a recent trade, so it doesn't really count the same way. In other words, he hadn't played with him all year. Until then, he hadn't really had a chance to show that he can carry the team quite the same way that Harden could. But I thought Giannis built a big lead, and Harden, once those injuries hit, started chipping away at it and eventually took the lead. And we argued on this show. You said it was over. I said not yet. And Giannis had some monster games since then. And the Bucks have the best overall record in basketball in spite of the Brogdon and Mirotic injuries. And I think Giannis has it by a hair. Stephen A., if you look at not just the counting numbers, but if you look at, which are close, right? If you look at by the way, they're close because Giannis has a huge advantage in rebounds and also has assists and also scores a lot of points and all that block shots. If you look at the advanced numbers, if you look at PER, for example, which is good shorthand for offense, Giannis has the slightest edge over Harden. He's also a much more valuable defensive player. And yet, if you look at win shares, how many wins is this one guy worth to the team? Harden has an advantage because he plays more minutes. But if you look at win shares per 48, meaning at the moments that they're actually out on the court, who's more valuable? It's Giannis again. It's that close, depending on how you look at it. But the way I look at it, it's Giannis by a hair. And if you needed to see how he would respond, could he carry a team in the event of injury, he's even done that recently. Offensively, Giannis is a tremendous contributor. You could argue Harden's even more important offensively. But then defensively, I think Giannis has a larger edge than Harden has the offensive edge. His team has the most wins in basketball. It's Giannis.
I'm not getting into all the win shares. I don't give a damn about all of that. I'm not going to engage in the analytics. I'm going to tell you plain and simple. The MVP award is not about who's the best player. It's about who's the most valuable player to their team. And I believe that the Milwaukee Bucks can do more without Giannis than Houston can do without James Harden.
Exactly, Stephen A. Exactly. Is what does he bring to the table? And if he leaves the table, can his team continue to do what they need to do? And it's obvious that Houston cannot do what they want to do if James Harden is not running on all cylinders. It's been obvious the past couple years in the playoffs. So we'll see what Giannis is about. But as far as Harden, if he leaves, it's a no-go. So let's keep going.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, listen, for the purposes of sports TV debate, I understand we like to parse what valuable means. In my opinion, value and best are interchangeable. If you are the best, you are the most valuable.
Of the 47 players who voted, Draymond Green and Russell Westbrook were tied for first as the most overrated players. Stephen A. Smith, do you have a problem with the assassin himself, Westbrook, being atop the list of overrated players?
I have a problem with both because I think that scoring isn't everything. If that's the case, Dennis Rodman wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And I think when you look at Draymond Green, not to say that he's a Hall of Famer, but there's an elevated level of appreciation we should have for what he brings to the table. In the case of Russell Westbrook, it's an absolute travesty. There's people that's hating. You can't look, the nerve for anybody to associate the word overrated with Russell Westbrook, a walking triple-double, third consecutive year.
I'm sorry I didn't cut him off. I know I cut it off a little bit too early. But yeah, for you to hate on Russell Westbrook with everything he's done, that man's been straight balling. Didn't he have like 15 or 20 triple doubles in a row? I mean, he's killing it this year. To say that he's overrated, there's no way you can say that. There's no way you can say Russell Westbrook is overrated. Now, if you want to go with Draymond Green, that's fine. I ain't going to be overrated because if Westbrook were to leave his team, they'd be in trouble. Versus Draymond, if he were to leave his team, they'd be just fine. They might not even notice. And Draymond's shot hasn't been dropping lately. He hasn't been doing too good. So to say that Draymond is, somehow deserves more praise than what he gets, nah, man, he's overrated. He's overrated. So let's keep going.
Averaging a triple-double, the most athletic point guard we've ever seen in NBA history. It's just jealousy, envy, haterism, and all of that other stuff. Russell Westbrook is not overrated by any stretch of the imagination. As far as I'm concerned, he's underappreciated.
I would like to know where and what part of Russell Westbrook's game is he overrated? Where is he overrated? What part of his game is he overrated? Even remotely? Now, like I said, Draymond Green, no problem. No problem, because Draymond, all he really brings to the table is probably leadership and that defensive bad guy. I don't want to say bad guy, but the enforcer. The defensive enforcer. That's what Draymond's role. So if Draymond were to leave, he can easily be replaced. And if he were to go to play for another team, I can't see them or him having the same type of role he has with Golden State, because I think he's more of a system player and he fits perfectly into the system of Golden State. So I can definitely say that Draymond's overrated. He just his persona is being hyping up with the Golden State Warriors. So if he were to go to another team, he wouldn't be as good as everybody or he thinks he is, or everybody says that he is. I think he'd be an average player if he were to go to another team. And tell you the truth, Draymond Green does not have the type of skills or talent to be able to take a team by himself and run it, even with somebody else. I cannot see Draymond Green being a front runner for a squad. I just can't do it. I just can't see it. So let's keep going. This video's almost over. Let's keep going.
Russell Westbrook, as you know, he's my favorite player. I love to watch Westbrook, but I understand why they say he's overrated. Westbrook has been on a lot of super talented teams. In fact, the year the Cavs beat the 73-win Warriors, by the time the playoffs rolled around, there was a real sense, in fact, the Thunder were the most talented team. And Westbrook has not yet won a championship, in spite of having many opportunities when you consider the rosters he's been on. So I get it. I also understand sometimes I watch him from play to play. I'll be like, best player ever. I don't care what anyone says. And the very next play, I think, you can't win a championship with this guy. So I understand the swings where he could.
So that points to there's something in Westbrook's game that needs to be tweaked. That just shows that somewhere in his game, there's a little something, whether it's his attitude or his style of play, something needs to be tweaked so he can get over the hump and go further in the playoffs and maybe win a championship. And the same thing for James Harden, because as good as James Harden is and everything we just said he is, he just can't get over that hump of beating or getting to the championship and winning. He just can't do it. Now, I know the Golden State Warriors are juggernauts. I mean, they're a beast. But still, he just doesn't have that enough to be able to seal the deal. Because last year, to be honest, he probably should have had Houston. He should have beat Houston. Went to Game 7, I was kind of worried. I was kind of sweating bullets. Because Harden would have sunk his shots, we'd be talking about a different story right